Only a short video this week, ladies and gentlemen, but what a cool ship.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mando number 5.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel, Mando number 5, and I'm Keith Guppy. So welcome to episode number 4 of Mando's Best. Now, over the last few weeks, we've done some iconic vehicles where we've looked at all the different vehicles from the modern Star Wars collecting lines from 1995, and we've scored them, and I've revealed what I think's the best. Now, this week, we're going to do a shorter episode because the last 2 weeks have been Millennium Falcons, X-Wings, ATSTs, and there's a lot of them, so they've been long videos. So this is a bit short this week, but I've picked another iconic ship, and that's the B-Wing. Now, I think the B-Wing is probably one of my favourite ships, especially when you put it in the standing position, and if you buy a stand or something, it looks great on display. I think it's been overlooked from Hasbro. I know there's 3 versions, but you know, I would have liked to see some more. I mean, there's a classic scenes from the Clone Wars where you've got Sela Undula's prototype version, which is amazing, and also been in the last episode of the Skeleton Crew, right at the end of the show. So it's a very popular ship. But there are just 3 versions. There's the 2000 version from the Power of the Jedi. The Power of the Jedi line did quite a few first, actually, but it was the first time the B-Wing had been reproduced in the modern Star Wars collecting lines. And then in 2008, they did a completely different coloured version from the Dagger Squadron comic book series. And then they did, the last one was the TVC one in 2011. But let's have a real good look in detail. Just before we have that good look, if you're liking the channel, please subscribe, hit the like button, it helps me grow, and please keep putting in all those valuable comments. So the first modern re-release of the B-Wing came out in 2000 in the Power of the Jedi line, and it was a really nice looking ship. It had some gorgeous weathering on it. It's got the iconic Death Star and B-Wings seen in the corner from the original Vintage Collection box. Really nice. It had a solution pilot come with it, but the weathering on it was terrific, and the solution pilot is really cool and unique as well. All these B-Wings would cost you about 160 to 200 pounds, and they all had the original sound electric stripped out, so you just had the folding wings, a rotating cockpit, and then you obviously had laser cannons on there as well. But what a cool looking ship, and as I said earlier on, I think you know, we could do with seeing some more versions of these, and there you go, there's a proof of purchase bit you can cut out as well. But a really cool ship from 2000. Then we had another version released in 2008, and this was completely different. This is from the Dagger Squadron from the Star Wars Rebellion comic series. Completely different looking ship with like the maroon and white livery on it, but really cool. It came with Lieutenant Nathan Pollard from the comic series with it, and you had the bonus of extra interchangeable missiles or stroke guns on it, which is really cool. And you got a choice of different livery to put on there in terms of Dagger Squadron livery. But there's the pilot, Lieutenant Pollard, which was unique to the ship. It had a retooled cockpit in there as well, which was different from the original vintage one and the Power of the Jedi one. But a really cool ship. Again, about £180 if you want to get it. And then finally, you have the Vintage Collection 2011 version, the Kmart exclusive. The same tooling, the same cockpit as the Dagger Squadron version, with a little bit of weathering on it, but in the classic box that looks just like the original vintage release with the Death Star exploding in the background. Really good to see this in the Vintage Collection, and they could probably do with an update if I'm honest. But all the same features again, no electrics, just the rotating cockpit, the foldable wings, and that was about it really. But a really cool ship, and in a fantastic box. This one's a bit dented, but you know, it's pretty good. So I hope you enjoyed that in-depth look at each one. So let's give them a score, shall we? So first category is features and playability. So they're all very similar. apart from one, has got one significant difference. So, first of all, the Power of the Jedi version, yeah, it's got all the normal stuff. It's got the wings that fold out. It's got the missiles. It's got the rotating cockpit. Nothing special there. It has got the solution pilot, which is an added extra. So I've given that a 7 out of 10. However, the Dagger Squadron Legacy version does come with bigger interchangeable missiles, which is a really good plus. It also comes with Lieutenant Pollard as well. So that's cool. It's got the pilot. It looks good. It's a different color. It looks all good. So I've given that a higher score of 8. And then finally, the TVC. Yeah, it doesn't do anything extra really that the original vintage one did. So it's got no pilot with it or anything like that. So I've given that a 6. Box art presentation, and that's important to me because I'm an in-box collector, as I said before. I'll give the Power of Jedi 7. It looks great in the plastic front, so you can see everything's going on, and you've got a pilot there, so it looks really, really cool. Just the same as the Dagger Squadron version. That looks really, really cool. Just laid out. You've got the extra missiles laid out the front. Both box art, I've got some little explosions going on, so I've given them both a 7. And again, the TVC version, it's a fixed box you can't see in the box, but it has got the classic racetrack. It looks very similar to the original vintage version from the early 80s, so I've given that a 7 as well. The size, scale, and look of them, I've given them all a 6, if I'm honest. They all look pretty much the same. I know the Dagger Squadrons are different detailing, but it hasn't got any weathering on. The Power of Jedi one and the other one has got a little bit of weathering, but I've given them all a 6. Now, in terms of rarity, these are all really expensive, and you know they're all about 160 to 180, maybe 190 pounds to get now. And if I'm looking on eBay right now, I can probably find one of each. Really difficult. So I've given them all an 8 for that reason. They're all really, really difficult ships to find, probably because they've been in the latest Disney series at the end, and suddenly everyone wants to buy a B-wing, but that's how it goes. So I've given them all an 8. And then the value, you have to pay an awful lot for each figure, each ship. And really, you know, paying £180, you don't really get much bang for your buck, if I'm honest. So I've given the Power Jedi and the Dagger Squadron one a 6 each because they have got some extra bits and they have got a pilot inside. And I've given the Vintage Collection B-Wing just a 5. So let's see what that gives us as a total. So, ladies and gentlemen, out of the 3, what's come top? So, in third place, and you might be a bit surprised, it's a TVC version from 2011. Yeah, it's great. It's got the classic box art. It looks like the original, but I just don't think it presents as well as the other two. So, in third place, on 32 points, is a TVC version. This is very close, by the way. And in second place, very close, is a Power of the Jedi version from 2000. I think it looks really, really cool. It's got the Neum Num type character pilot. It looks great in the presentation box. It's got a little bit of weathering on it. So that came in second on 34 points. But just winning was the Dagger Squadron version with pilot. It looks completely different than the other two. I think it's really, really cool. It's got the extra weapons and extra larger missiles on it. It presents really, really well. So on 35 points, my favourite, and let me know in the comments if you agree, is the Legacy Dagger Squadron version from 2008. So there you go. A short video this week. I hope you're enjoying it, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mando number 5.